Hey, everybody, welcome to, I almost said it, but I didn't. Welcome to Breakfast All Day. Alonso here with Matt and Christy. The Small Axe series of films continues on Amazon. This week's is called Alex Wheatle.
So this is the story of the titular character, Alex Wheatle, who is a currently successful author. But this is his story. He is orphaned at a young age or kind of just left by himself, and he doesn't adjust well to the foster system or kind of the shelter system that he goes through. And he kind of grows up in the program, and he kind of does okay, and he's out on his own. He has to kind of learn to be a West Indian black kid in the area that he lives in. We see that he wants to be possibly a rapper or maybe just a music producer. We see that he dabbles in selling drugs. He eventually takes part in a protest and ends up in jail, where he meets someone who kind of, if not sets him straight, at least gives him something to hold on to. The movie jumps back and forth from the time he's in jail to his past. But this is yet another entry in the Small Axe series that Steve McQueen's giving us that's just absolutely terrific. I really, really like this one. The newcomer here, Sheyi, I can't remember his last name.
Sheyi Cole
is playing Alex Wheatle. This is his first role, his first time acting. And it works really well because he really does inhabit this character, this person who's trying to figure out who he is and is almost seemingly trying on different personas like you try on a coat. More just great filmmaking from Steve McQueen with some of these long takes that just let you breathe and let you just experience what Wheatle's going through and who he is. This one's terrific. Each one has been just amazing, and this one is no exception.
Yeah, these films all kind of take a different way to get to the same place, which is this celebration of a community, and not just in terms of the people that are in your immediate surroundings, but the larger historical sense of who you are and where you've come from and what is it that makes you, who are the people that came before you to make that happen. And you see Alex coming out of the shelter system and being so completely divorced from his own background. And his new neighbors being like, no, we have to give you a haircut. You need to get some clothes. Like this is none of this is working. And so you see him becoming more acclimated, but then after the riots that take place because of this, police violence in the neighborhood, and he winds up in jail, and he's taken under the wing of this guy that he calls Dread. And, who introduces him to like the Black Jacobins and other sort of revolutionary literature. And it kind of gives Alex this sense of place and of specificity of who he is and where he comes from. And all of the films in one way or another, whether it's through music, whether it's through food, whether it's through political action, whether it's through, different relationships, kind of really brings that to the fore. And I just find them all so powerful.
I felt like this is the weakest link in the bunch so far. I definitely enjoyed it, and I really like Sheyi Cole's performance. I want to mention also Robbie G as Simeon, who he shares the cell with, and who has this very larger than life, powerful presence in front of him. Also, Jonathan Jules is the new friend who takes him around, Dennis, who takes him around, takes him shopping, and introduces him to all the reggae music. There's one fantastic shot that reflects his evolution, where you see Alex walk into this record store for the first time and look around. And it's a narrow, long record store, but the camera pans from him walking in and then along the cashier and along the walls of all the records and all the posters. And then it comes down to a record, and you see him picking it up and bringing it to the cashier, and they know him by this point.
Yeah.
You realize he's a regular, and he's joking around about how he owes the money, and he's always promising to pay them. But it's a really elegant way to indicate not just the passage of time, but also his evolution as a character. Having said that, a lot of times this is a pretty straightforward movie in a pretty, it's a fish out of water story in a lot of ways, where he doesn't fit in, but learns quickly which is an indication of how smart he is, that he can pick up on the fly, you know, the music and the lingo and walk the walk. And but then there was some some kind of like bits that are really beneath Steve McQueen, like the whole like shitting thing in the jail cell. It's beneath him, and the whole thing with him like walking awkwardly, like it's a really simple sight gag.
I wasn't going to get into the shitting thing, but I'm kind of glad you brought it up.
Why were you not going to mention it?
Well, I was going to talk around it, but let's just go right in.
Let's do it.
The Foley in that scene is so specific and so horrifyingly vivid that like that it is not, this is not like an Adam Sandler movie where it's just like, oh, he farts. This is like, and because it is tied into this guy who's hunger striking, so like which is of course very in the Steve McQueen wheelhouse. I don't know, to me it just felt like it was weirdly vivid and also political in a way, and it happens for so long that it justifies its existence. It's not just like a cheap shock effect. He's leaning into it and like he's making it a moment very intentionally.
I think it actually works really well in that I think that Foley does, I think, a better job of making you feel like how awful it would be to be in prison than anything you would see on the screen.
Yeah,
right?
Like close quarters, like you're right there.
Like, oh yeah, ugh, right? Like that's, yeah, I thought that was, and you know, the walking thing I thought was kind of funny. I liked this a little bit better than the one we watched last week, Red, White, and Blue, because I think this one had a more solid ending. But yeah, you know, the stuff that McQueen's doing that adds a little bit of light to it, I was okay here.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, no, I was just saying real quick, we talked about how Mangrove sort of takes the idea of like the courtroom drama and really turns it on its ear and finds something interesting. And I like the fact that this is a biopic about a writer well before he actually becomes a writer. Mm-hmm. So like there's none of that like sitting at the typewriter and, you know, running into the bar like my novel, you know, like it's all about, it's all the origin story stuff, like the stuff that would then get him later to the artistic part. That was all I was saying.
No, I appreciate that. But then the thing that happens in that ending, the person he runs into, that feels like a contrivance to me. It feels like a device to me. And the same thing with like the neighbors next door who come in and see him and go, oh God, you need a makeover. Like it's amusing, but it feels like a contrivance in terms of serving as a catalyst for the narrative. Like it just feels like it's putting people in his path to move him forward. And maybe it happened that way. Maybe the friend did show up in the room or the other friend did show up in the park. I mean, it felt the most straightforward and conventional of all of these films. It's not bad. I enjoy the performance a lot, but it's just compared to the others, compared to like the exquisite work of art that is Lovers Rock.
Well, sure. And I think if we'd seen this one first, then yes, it would maybe have been a harder hill to go up. But I think at this point, Small X has engendered such goodwill with me that I'm like, I see it as more of a piece. I think Lovers Rock, Mangrove definitely stand on their own. This one is maybe more like it's part of the collection, but I think it's still a really good part, and I like it a lot.
I like the music too, all of it.
Yeah.
And I think also it's interesting how it's a lot about reggae and like the transformative power of that and how it just gets into your soul. But he'll always, in these movies, use other examples of period music, like a song that you wouldn't expect. And so like in Red, White, and Blue, when the dad is being beaten up, oh God, what song is it? Oh, Uptown Girl is playing while that's happening. Like that's really unexpected. When they go to shop for shoes, like Brass in Pocket is playing. So it puts you in that era, but with a song that maybe you wouldn't necessarily expect to be playing at that moment.
Context.
So I like the inventive nature of the music. Anyway, I'm saying 7.5.
I said 9.
Yeah, I give it a 9 too.
8.5 is our number. Alex Wheatle is out now on Amazon. We've got one more next week.
Yeah, keep an eye peeled next week when Education comes out, because in the closing credits, Alex Wheatle is credited as like a writer's room consultant. So he is very much obviously involved with the making of these films. So thanks for watching, everybody. Small X, Alex Wheatle, and the other Small X chapters that have been released so far are all streaming on Amazon Prime. Thanks for watching. Like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us at BeFastAllDay on Twitter Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/BeFastAllDay. We are talking about The Mandalorian and The Queen's Gambit and lots of other fun stuff that only our only our subscribers get. You are our producers, especially when it comes to
producer.
Our subscribers get to vote on what our off the menu is, and we had a tie this month. So produce that for us. Go vote if you haven't done it already, and go join if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, you guys. Have a good week. Take care of yourselves and each other. We'll be back next time with more. Bye.
Bye.